I mean, at all. In the first one, he was, he was this wide-eyed kid. He was like, oh, magic and stuff. So you could forgive him in that one. He's just coming into this whole world. So being doe-eyed that was his character for the first movie. From the second movie to the fourth movie, he didn't really have a personality at all. And then in the fifth movie, he was just pissed off a lot. And I don't know, I guess it's hormones? Puberty? I wasn't that pissed off when I was 15. Or was I? Whatever. But yeah, he doesn't really have that much of a character. And then in the sixth movie, he was kind of not as pissed off, but he was still sort of pissed off. And then in the seventh movie, he was, I don't know, he was on a camping trip with Ron and Hermione, and they were looking for Horcruxes, and I think he got pissed off again at certain points. I don't know. Bottom line, Harry doesn't really have much of a personality. At least, that's what I think. And if any of you have anything to say otherwise, please tell me. I like Harry. I want to think he has a personality and a character, but I just don't see it. So if you do, please tell me, because I would like for Harry to be definable as a character. But okay, there's this one scene in this movie where Harry's like surrounded by the ghosts or something of his parents, Sirius and Remus. And the scene is very, very tender, and it's very soft, very subdued. They're all just standing in the forest, and they're just saying lines back and forth to each other. And you feel that if any of the actors underacted, then you would feel that they just were being apathetic and they didn't care. If they overacted, then you would have felt that they were being too intense. So all of them, including Daniel Radcliffe, found a very, very fine point to keep themselves in between intensity and between apathy. It's very tender scene, very masterfully acted by all of them. And I thought Daniel Radcliffe pulled it off rather well. He's still kind of doing his same Harry thing where he looks like this, and he's supposed to be tormented and sad and scared, but at the same time convicted, But I don't know, there's just something about that scene that felt very sincere, very masterfully done, and I give Radcliffe kudos for that scene. Alright. And yeah, I don't really want to spoil too much, even though the book is the biggest spoiler in the world. This movie was actually shorter than some of the other movies. It's only, I think, about 2 hours long. It's really not that hard to sit through. There are some points where people may think, it's sort of dragging itself and it's not being as action-packed as it could be, but I wasn't bored at all. The scenes where very little is happening felt very weighty, and they felt like they carried some weight to them, that they mattered to the story. So I didn't have a problem with those. And actually, speaking of the action in this movie is in and of itself, is like a climax to the entire series. So, you got the big showdown at Hogwarts between the Death Eaters and the students. So that brings a whole nother dimension of just what's going on here. It brings a whole nother reality to it, to have these children, ages 11 to 17, who are fighting these adults. These are adults killing children, and it's a little heavy, you know, when you think about it like that. You got all these children whipping their wands around, just shooting wherever, and you see some of them going down, and you're like, oh shit, those are kids. So that brings another level of intensity to this battle. And on top of that, the cinematography with this battle got sort of like, it got Lord of the Rings on us, kind of, because there were big masses of Death Eaters here, and you know, there were all sorts of things going on. It didn't do that thing that happened in Lord of the Rings where the camera was in there in the battle and it was like shaking, trying to make things look visceral and like they were, you know, really happening, and everything was like intense and gritty. It didn't have to do that. It was, the camera was in there, but it was just sort of like panning, you know. It didn't have to be all shaky. Everything else was shaky enough, so you don't have to make the camera shake too. And I admire that, because we got to see the action, and it got to affect us because we were able to see it. So the cinematography with the action sequences, I thought, was really well done. And the effects in the movie are also pretty well done. Of course, all the effects in all the Potter films are pretty good. But in this one, they felt really seamless. Like, there's a dragon in the movie. It almost looks like it could be real. And although there is this one part where McGonagall brings these stone statues to life, and you know, they look like how stone would probably move if someone actually did bring them to life, but it looks sort of hokey. So that was one complaint. The spells, they look about the same. Flashes of light, and you know, Harry and Voldemort do their little thing, and it's like these two streams come together, and it's like, I don't know, molten spell is dripping from where they meet. I don't know. It looked fun. It looked alright. The effects are pretty seamless in this movie, so that's a good thing. I didn't go see it in 3D, although I sort of wish that I did, just for one shot. I mentioned the dragon before. The dragon comes like popping out of the top of a building, and it shows us, the camera is like looking down at it like this, and the dragon comes shooting up like this. That shot probably would have looked good in 3D. I almost thought, I was thinking to myself, oh man, I would have seen this in 3D just to see that shot. But aside from that, the film is pretty dark, as you can imagine. So 3D would probably not be the best choice. Although to see that one shot may just make it. But other than that, the film is pretty dark and gritty, so 2D screening would probably be best. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You know? Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is the end, guys. It's the end of a legacy. No more Harry Potter after this. So, if you're a Potter fan, you're going to be satisfied with this movie. It will meet your expectations. I guarantee it. And so now, I think the giant that is Harry Potter can now finally be put to rest, and the fans can finally feel that, you know, this is it. This is our reward for the over a decade's worth of loyalty and fanfare and acclaim. It's all accumulated into this one masterfully, or maybe not masterfully, this competently done movie. It's satisfying. Go see it. You're a Harry Potter fan, or if you're even a fan in general of just the Harry Potter movies themselves, go see it. Or if you're a fan of just movies, you should see it, and the rest of the Harry Potter films. They're all great. I love them all, so go check go check out Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is the end. Alright. I'll see you guys later.